Hello and welcome to 5 at 5. And as I tweeted, we will continue the discussion after the news points with Deep Das Gupta and Rajarshi Gupta, who will also join, about the Indian team for the third and fourth test, and also talk about the possible white ball team which will be announced during the Ahmedabad test. But first, the House at ad with Irfan Pathan.
क्या आप भी किसी अपने सपने मेरे तुम्हारे टीम 11 पे टीम बना रहे हो और बच्चों के साथ खेल रहे हो? हमारे साथ खेलोगे? हाउस पे खेलो लेजेंड्स के साथ, हमें हरा और जीतो डबल कैश. लॉग ऑन टू houseit.com and win real cash.
The first news point that I will start with today is Rafa Nadal won the first two tests against Tsitsipas, and then he came back, Tsitsipas, and won the third. The fourth set is on as we speak. The first two sets to Rafa Nadal. We've seen what Novak Djokovic has already done. I mean, the champions are in real form in Australia. So can Rafa Nadal make it to the semi-final once more at the Australian Open? Tsitsipas winning the third, making it competitive. The fourth set is on as we speak here on 5 at 5. That's my news point number one. News point number two, and very important news point, Shardul Thakur will be released for the Vijay Hazare Trophy from the Indian team of the third and fourth tests in Ahmedabad, provided Umesh Yadav, who had sustained the injury in Australia, passes the fitness test. Umesh has been included in the Indian team for the pink ball test and subsequently the fourth test at the Motera, the newly done Motera with 110,000 people capacity, where we expect a 50% crowd, which is 55,000, to be in attendance for test match numbers 3 and 4. So Shardul Thakur will be released to join the Mumbai team for the Vijay Hazare Trophy, provided Umesh Yadav passes the fitness test. And the rest of the team remains the same. As far as the possibilities for the white ball team is concerned, we will talk about it at length when Deep Das Gupta joins me soon after the 5 news points, 5 at 5, are done with. So that's my news point number 2. News point number 3, Faf du Plessis calls a day on his test match career for South Africa. Former South African captain, one of the best of our era, of our generation. He was a pillar of the South African batting unit. And while he will continue to focus on T20s and white ball cricket with the World Cup scheduled for later this year, cricket world will miss Faf du Plessis in the red ball format for South Africa. And this will be a void that will be very, very difficult to fill as far as the South African test team is concerned, because over the last decade, it was Faf du Plessis in that middle order who was the glue for the South African batting unit. News point number 4. There was an injury concern over Shubman Gill, and there was another rumor doing the rounds about Virat Kohli being docked merit points by the ICC for him arguing with umpire Nitin Menon over the Joe Root LBW dismissal. But no such complaints have been filed. The umpires have deemed it as a clarification, and at this point in time, there is nothing, and I repeat, ICC sources confirm there is nothing to suggest that Virat Kohli will be docked any points. And to the 2 demerit points he had already earned, there will be any addition going into Ahmedabad. So no charges have been leveled whatsoever against Virat Kohli. As far as Shubman Gill is concerned, Gill, from what we understand, will definitely be fit for the Ahmedabad test match. So that is the update that we have on Shubman Gill and Virat Kohli. News point number 5, the major IPL auction is tomorrow. Though it's not the full-fledged one and a mini one, but it's still a major one, because teams like Chennai Super Kings, Kings 11 Punjab, Royal Challengers Bangalore will want to do a lot in this particular auction. Punjab has 50 plus crores, Bangalore 30 plus crores. team like Delhi has 13, KKR and Sunrisers 10.75, so not much purse. So we will see a lot of strategic buying. We've done a show on this. You can go and watch Sports Today, but our favorites or our top picks: Glenn Maxwell, Kylie Jamison, Shakib Al Hassan, Chris Morris, Steven Smith, uh, all of these players, some Indian players like Umesh Yadav also in the fray. So expect some big ticket buying tomorrow for each of the IPL teams. Deep Das Gupta will join us from Chennai, and I will be here along with Ridhima Pathak. By the way, happy birthday, Ridhima Pathak. It's her birthday today, so she's sort of taking her day off, and we've said that please go and celebrate with your cakes and just do something for us. Tell internet to give you a birthday present and get fixed so that you can come on Sports Today from tomorrow without any break. So happy birthday, Ridhima Pathak. And that's the last news point on the IPL. And tomorrow, I mean, I've got a lot of tweets and messages saying, Buryada, why don't you also talk about the ISL on Sports Today? So tomorrow we will talk about the derby, which is for day after, Mohun Bagan versus East Bengal, ATKMB versus SC East Bengal tomorrow on Sports Today. So that's all for me. At 5, let's have Deep Das Gupta in and Rajarshi Gupta in if he's there. Deep will join me. Ashish, if you are backstage, if you can get Deep Das Gupta in. Trisha, if you are there, can you get Deep Das Gupta in so that we can deep dive into the Indian team for the third and fourth test matches? So to come back to the Indian team, uh, if Deep hasn't joined yet, let me get going with the Indian team and we will see if Deep joins soon. And we will also talk about the white ball teams. And very importantly, one more question which I've been asked multiple times by you all is, will Surya Kumar Yadav make the team? This is India's squad for the two tests versus England. As you can see, Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Mayank Agarwal, Shubman Gill, Cheteshwar Pujara, Ajinkya Rahane, Riddhiman Saha, KL Rahul, Hardik Pandya, Rishabh Pant, R. Ashwin, Kuldeep Yadav, Aksar Patel, Washington Sundar, Ishant Sharma, Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Siraj, and you will have Umesh Yadav in the team as well, provided he passes the fitness test in Ahmedabad, and Shardul Thakur will be released to join the team for the Vijay Hazare Trophy. There's Deep Das Gupta, as I said. Deep, you've seen the team. One noted change: Umesh Yadav comes in, provided he passes the fitness test. Shardul Thakur makes way. He will go back to the Vijay Hazare Trophy. Two questions to start with. One, I was asking this question of Pragyan, and I want to ask you as well. What is your expectation and experience with the pink ball? Will it turn as much if we prepare a surface like that? Can a turner be prepared for a pink ball test match? Give me a sense as to what your expectation is from the Ahmedabad test and the change Umesh Yadav for Shardul Thakur.
Well, obviously, I mean, it seems that Shami is not fit enough, so you would need an extra seamer. You would need that extra pace that Umesh has and the ability to swing at that pace. See, as far as if you go back and look at all the pink ball test matches, it's only been green tops and surfaces that helps the seamers. Now, I also did a Dulip Trophy, which was played, I think, 2014-15 season with the pink ball. Kuldeep played that. Kuldeep got wickets in that. But the surface wasn't really a turner. And the logic is this, that the pink ball, because, for example, the red ball, the leather is red in color. The white ball, the leather is white in color. But the pink ball, the leather itself is white and it is dyed pink, right? So, because of, as in wear and tear, when the pink comes off, it becomes kind of whitish. So there is an extra layer of lacquer on that pink ball, and to maintain the pinkness of the ball, you have grass on the surface. So whether it's possible to make a turner, that's a big question. I mean, I'm sure you can still have that, turning surface and all. But I think then you also have to keep making sure that you change the ball, because the ball obviously will not remain as pink as it should be. if you don't have grass on the pitch, or it's the pitch is like on the drier side.
Pragyan mentioned this point, Deep, that he
Mm.
also was talking about this Dulip Trophy encounter. And he said that, yes, the pink ball did turn one. And he said that the ball also retained its color. Is that possible at all? Or will you have to then change the ball like you are saying? Because clearly India will not want Anderson, Broad and Archer to take center stage.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, listen, how I see it is then they would be open to changing the ball as well. Because as you mentioned, I think he'll be playing right into their hands, or I won't say right into their hands. I think because India's got a fairly good bowling attack as well. But I mean, then basically you're giving up the home advantage, right? Then you're
Exactly,
talking about a
exactly.
50-50 game, or rather, they would be more at home with those conditions. So personally, I think I mean, it would be a turner, but I think then you also have to be a little open about changing the ball, because I don't see that pink ball retaining its color for long if the surface does not have too much of grass on it.
Okay, people are asking about the Mohammad Shami's fitness update. Mohammad Shami is still not test match fit. He will probably make the white ball team. Let's make this point on Sports Today. From what we know, there is every likelihood to believe that Jasprit Bumrah will be rested for the white ball leg.
Right.
Mohammad Shami will make it. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar is also likely to make it. And that's what I want to ask Deep Dasgupta, what he's sensing. Rishabh Pant is almost certain to make the white ball team as well. Sanju Samson will probably give way because he has not made the most of the opportunities. And something that you all have asked me several times, from what we know, there is every likelihood that Surya Kumar Yadav will make the T20 team. Deep, your thoughts on what can possibly be our white ball team, which will be announced during the Ahmedabad test?
I think the names that you mentioned, obviously someone like Surya, I think he should have been there in Australia as well. So Surya, I think, should be there. Rishabh, again, the way he's batting and keeping, I think he should be there in all three formats now. Yeah, I mean, those things. I mean, I don't see too many changes though. Now, the big question with the T20 side is, would you still have, even though someone like Manish Pandey and all have not done anything wrong, but when you're talking about Rishabh coming in, you're talking about Surya coming in. So obviously, someone has to make way, and that's going to be the tricky part. Yes, you
That's
want,
my question actually to you.
yeah,
That from
yeah,
what I know that Sanju
yeah,
Samson has not been as consistent. So maybe
yeah,
KL is donning the gloves. Rishabh comes in, so automatically you don't need a third keeper. So
yeah,
Sanju Samson, if you treat him as a batsman, there's every reason to believe that Surya makes a case there.
yeah.
And will it be one between Manish and Shreyash? Is that what you believe, that Surya Yadav and
Yeah.
Rishabh Pant coming in?
In T20, yes. In T20, yes. I think Shreyas has done really well in 50 overs. But T20, and that too at that position at 4 and 5, it's a little tricky. I think if you ask me at number 4, would I prefer Shreyas or Rishabh or Manish out of them
Or
if I have to
Surya?
pick, or Surya for that matter? Yes. If I have to pick, I'd say, yeah, Surya, Rishabh, and Manish over Shreyas. Or I'd say Rishabh, Shreyas, Rishabh and Surya would be my two choice out of those four if I have to choose two. So yeah, I think those would be the changes.
Interesting, very interesting. And would you sort of decide on resting Jasprit, because anyway, if you're talking T20s, he will play the IPL for MI, and he will get a lot of T20 games under his belt. So he will have be IPL ready, or rather T20 ready, going into the World Cup. So would you be happy to rest Jasprit Bumrah?
Yes, I think I would be, because it's not just that. I mean, obviously, you've got hopefully we'll qualify for the World Test Championship. Then you have 5 Test matches in England, obviously the World Cup. And then, I mean, before the World Cup, you'll be playing quite a few T20. So if he misses out on these 5 T20Is, I don't think that should be a problem. I think resting him would be more important, and managing his workload will be more important.
Okay, another two news points. And people are asking about Shubman Gill. We've not heard anything about Shubman Gill to suggest that he will not play in Ahmedabad. Yes, precautionary scan, but he should be fine. Number one. Number two, as we said, already that no demerit points for Virat Kohli. So he will absolutely be there in Ahmedabad. The umpires have deemed it as a clarification and not confrontation. So that's the news from the ICC about Virat Kohli. Deep, give me a little bit more. I mean, I was asking this question to a couple of former players today about the pink ball. What are the adjustments that you have to do against the pink ball as a batsman, say as an opening batsman, or when you bat in twilight? Make me understand a little bit more the technical side, which I don't.
Right. See, as far as the pink ball is concerned, you got to be. I mean, your game plan would be on the same lines as you would play, let's say, in England against Duke's ball. Because it will move around a bit. There will be extra bounce, and because of the extra lacquer, the ball's going to be harder than the usual red ball. So obviously, from that perspective, you've got to play closer to your body, and things like that. Uh, uh, you know. Uh, like that, and then the other important thing is the toilet, as you mentioned. That's the tricky part, when it's neither, I mean, it's a mixture of the natural light and the floodlights. So that's where I've spoken to quite a few players who've played with a pink ball, and their take is it's difficult to sight the ball during that period. So that's one thing, but also strategically, there is a shift. So ideally speaking, you would say the first session, or in normal test match cricket, we'd say the first session is very important. The second is batting friendly, and the third, again, the bowler, you've got to be careful as a batsman. But in pink ball cricket, it's the other way around. It's the first session, which is the easiest as far as batting is concerned. With the second and the third session, that gets trickier, because obviously under the lights the ball would do a lot more. And from a spinner's perspective, again, what I've noticed is there is a lot more drift. Drift is, from a spinner, when the ball is moving in the air, not off the surface, but in the air. So as in the last test match, we saw Jack Leach drifting the ball, coming wide of the crease, drifting the ball for the left-handers. So with that pink ball, what I've noticed is spinners get a lot of drift. We've seen Ashwin getting a lot of drift in red ball cricket. So that's something that will be exaggerated with the pink ball. So as a batsman, you have to be very, very careful of the drift that a spinner would get.
Two important questions have been asked of you. One, do you think Ravichandran Ashwin now once again deserves a look in the white ball formats? He had a good IPL. The way he's performing in the red ball, will India sort of go back to Ravi Ashwin and give him a chance to see what he does with the white ball? Is that for you a possibility? Question number one. Question number two, some people are asking, will England have an advantage with the pink ball, or can India nullify that in Ahmedabad? Two questions for you.
Right. First of all, yes. I mean, Ashwin, definitely. I mean, you can never rule somebody of his caliber out. He did well in the IPL. He's developed a lot of these different variations. So he's not just an off spinner anymore. He has the carom ball, or the usual, the traditional orthodox leg spin as well. He can bowl that. So he can actually bowl the ball that goes away from the right hander as well. So yes, and obviously the way he's batting, I mean, obviously your batting confidence must have gone up in the last two test series, the way he's batted. So yeah, I never say never for someone of his class. So yes, that's one. Secondly, will it be advantage to England? Traditionally speaking, yes. If you actually go back and have a look at all the pink ball games so far, you'll see it does help the fast bowlers. It does help the swing and the seam bowlers like Anderson and Jofra Archer. So yes, it does. But I think this pitch would be different. And now the tricky part is it becomes, as in, how would it pan out is something that we will have to see. Again, as I've mentioned before, that Greater Noida Dulip Trophy, the pitch did not have too much grass on it. It was kind of the usual pitch that we get to see in first class cricket, which is batting friendly, and batsmen scored runs. But the ball was swinging around. Especially, I remember, I think one of the games, Kuldeep got 6 wickets, if I'm not wrong. and the ball was drifting. I remember Suresh Raina stepped out, the ball drifted so much, he missed a full toss that drifted and hit his pads. So that's how much it was drifting. So yeah, I mean, I think they will not give any grass on the surface, and we'll have to wait and see how the pink ball behaves on a pitch which might be a turner.
Still a week to go, Deep. You've not yet sort of reached Ahmedabad, so you will obviously give us a better sense once you go. But if you sort of have to think now, so will you envisage one change for India? Say Kuldeep Yadav gives way to another fast bowler, or does even Hardik Pandya figure in your scheme of things? If he bowls, which he's not yet done, if he was bowling, would he be a
Okay, can I
perfect
can
foil?
I break something for you as well? I mean, for all our viewers and all, I saw Hardik actually bowling. Um,
Ah.
so I actually saw Hardik bowling. Uh, Obviously not bowling like a full spell or something, but he did come and bowl a few balls before the game started. I think it was it day three? I think it was day three. During warm-ups, I saw him bowl, so that was a good news. So
when when
he
when you
did,
say that, let me just add to that, that from
yeah.
what I know, the plan was actually for Hardik to be with the red ball team and bowl so that he gets ready for the World Test Championship final in England. So you're absolutely right there. Yeah, go on.
So yeah, so yes, if he can, it's fine. But I will not push him right now
Mhm.
because I still think if he's not 100% bowling fit, you shouldn't in a test match, and that too in a series like this, where even though you are kind of, once you cross that line, then you forget your injuries and all that. You will push your body, and then it can break down. So maybe I wouldn't, but you always have someone like Ashwin, the kind of batting form that he is in. Even Aksar can chip in with the bat. So yeah, I guess there'll be only one change. I think you get in Umesh in place of Kuldeep.
Okay. So Deep and says one change for the Ahmedabad Test match, but obviously things will evolve because he's still in Chennai for the IPL auction and
Yeah,
more.
and sorry, two.
Yeah, yeah,
Sorry, Bolt. Two.
yeah.
Obviously, Bumrah comes in. Yeah.
Correct. So now that is my question to you. Will it be Umesh for Kuldeep, or will it be Bumrah for Kuldeep with Siraj and Ishant being there? So will it? So who are your one, two, three? Is it Bumrah,
Mm.
Ishant, and Siraj? Is it Bumrah, Ishant, and Umesh?
Right. I will actually want to see Umesh bowling in the nets. Ideally
Hmm.
speaking, if Umesh is cranking it up to 140 plus, which he generally does, and he's managing the ball to swing, if he can get that ball to swing, because Siraj is so much like Ishant and Bumrah, which is hit the deck bowler, seam bowler. Bumrah can get the ball to swing, but again, I mean, they're very similar in nature. All three of them, Siraj, Bumrah, and Ishant. So that's where if Umesh is getting that ball to swing, I might look at Umesh, Bumrah, and Ishant. I mean, Bumrah and Ishant definitely yes, and that'll be Ishant's 100th Test match. I mean, what an achievement that'll be. And Bumrah and Ishant definitely. And then I might just have a look at them in the net and see who looks in better form.
And Deep, when you mentioned the 100 test, what an incredible achievement. I mean, for an Indian fast bowler
Yeah.
to play 100 test match. I remember that series in Australia when that ninth over, Virendra Sehwag running to Captain Anil Kumble to basically tell him to give him that extra over. And then Rahul Dravid takes that catch of Ricky Ponting and Ishant is rewarded after what I will consider one of the best fast bowling spells by an Indian. But your thoughts, 100 test matches, incredible.
Incredible. The longevity of a fast bowler. It's incredible. I know a lot of people have questioned uh, the numbers in the first 60 or test matches. Fair enough. I mean, his role was very different back then. We tend to forget what his role was. His role was to to make sure he's fit enough to bowl 20 overs every day and give control to the captain. So he was used that way, and that was his role. And I thought he played his hand best he could, and I think he did. do what MSD wanted him to do, which is give him control. Yeah, and so yeah, and he's only what 33, 33, 34. So I was having this chat with
Yes.
him, and I was like, 100th test match and all that. लेकिन अभी तो बहुत बाकी है. You're only this and all. कह रहा है, भैया 33 तो ठीक है, लेकिन जितने overs मैंने डाल लिए वो बहुत हैं. तो so
And
I mean just
he's a very sort of sweet guy. I mean, he's a
very
lovely guy. He's a
he's
lovely
very
guy.
very sweet and very humble, very sweet. And I'm so happy for him. I mean, he's one of the hardest working cricketers you'll come across. Work ethics, superb work ethics. So yeah, I'm so happy that he's reached where he's reached.
Okay, last last couple of questions before we close this show, Deep. One, if I ask you to predict today, are you going to
Hmm.
predict an Indian series win after this comeback?
I would. I would. See, I definitely think fourth test India will win. I am very intrigued to see the pitch, how the pitch behaves in the day and night test match. That is something that I'm kind of, would be very interesting. So once I reach Ahmedabad, one of the first things I'll do is actually go to the ground and have a look at the pitch if I'm allowed to, that is. And yeah, I mean, but like you said, the momentum and everything else, England will come back. I mean, they will come back hard. There's no two ways about it. But I think from here on, India should, and listen, from World Test Championship perspective as well, India has to win this.
Okay, so last question, Deep. Okay, let me just check if there's anything here. Horses
There,
for
there,
courses.
Boria, there's this
Because, yeah,
interesting take. I mean, it's worth discussing. Is if out of the three, obviously Ashwin plays, spinners are out. So Kuldeep or
Aksar.
Aksar, what is your take?
See, it was very different in Chennai, where Aksar was needed because of the pace he bowled and all of that. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if India actually goes in with Kuldeep in Ahmedabad, provided they have that confidence in Kuldeep. Because on a true surface, I still think Kuldeep is a better Test match bowler than Aksar. But you know better about these things than me. Your
No,
thoughts?
but I mean, listen, I'm just thinking aloud. Is okay.
But will
Kuldeep
you
is
drop someone after 5 wickets?
uh, I mean, it has happened before. It's not that it hasn't,
Happened
and
with
you're not
Kuldeep
dropping.
only.
Yeah, I mean, Kuldeep's last Test match was a 5 wicket haul.
Yeah.
So I mean, before this, So, and anyways, what I'm thinking is, if you're looking at pink ball and looking at the pitch, and you're thinking, you know what, my attacking bowlers are my fast bowlers, all three of them, and Ashwin obviously is. Do I need another wicket taker, or do I need somebody who can bowl me if required 20 overs a day and making sure that he does not leak runs? So what kind of a bowler you'd want? You want a defensive bowler who gives you control, or somebody who might go for runs but also might pick wickets. So I think that's the call that the team management needs to make. So if you're looking for control, then obviously Aksar. If you're looking to get, you're happy picking up wickets and giving away runs in the bargain, then I guess Kuldeep. But I think, yeah, that's again a tricky call and an interesting one too.
Absolutely. We'll end on this. We'll say that the third test will actually decide India's fate in the World Test Championship. Because as Deep said, 90% India will be favourites in that fourth test. But the third one, the pink ball one, is a very important test match and it will decide our fate. But that's for some time later. Tomorrow, Deep is in Chennai. We will join on Sports Today. Look, people have asked us about the derby, so we will do a show on Mohun Bagan East Bengal. This is a multi-sport platform, and we will join each other tomorrow for the IPL auction. Starts 3 p.m. Every time there's something interesting, we will come live, and we will obviously do special shows. So watch out with Deep Das Gupta. Always a pleasure to have you on the show, Deep. And I hope the BCCI allows Amrita to travel, because otherwise this bio bubble can really get into your mind. So I hope you get some respite there. Do speak to the BCCI on that, because this mental thing, I'm concerned. I'm genuinely concerned for you all,
Thanks.
because mentally it can be very tough. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. And tomorrow, the big IPL auction. So we'll definitely have you back. Ridhima Pathak, once again, a very happy birthday. You've not sent either of us chocolates, so that's pending. On your behalf, if you want to wish Deep and close the show.
Yeah, Ridhima, again, happy birthday, and hopefully, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Absolutely. Take care and thank you. Bye.